long time ago on Eastham. Just released Andre Wade. Once again, just come to reminisce about some things that took place back in the days. I don't know who Eastham. Oh, Eastham. 1990 was the year that I pulled up on Eastham. We pulled up in the old Bluebird. The Bluebird was the chain buses. Still got them hiccups, y'all. Y'all bear with me. Was the good morning, you too. Good morning, good morning. Thought I'd just come and share some stories on my days on Eastham. I remember when I drove up on Eastham. Back then, you know, they had a rumor that was going around in TDC system that the white boys ran Eastham. And to a degree, you probably could say that on certain parts, certain line tanks, maybe so. But the majority of the unit was ran by blacks, and when it came down to the Hispanics, it was the appreciate that. I see that. You will want to hit that like button. You will want to hit that like button because ain't no telling what Andre Wade might come with next on this just release. You can bet the show that he's coming. I remember, and that was a long time ago. When I'm talking about it, it's a long time ago, and you know, and I was like 25 years old. Coming into a system and a unit that was dangerous at that time, the most dangerous unit in the system. And me and some good morning to you too. Good morning everybody. Good morning. Another fresh day for me. Another day. Another time that I have to deal with my situation, which is what threw me back in time, because when I was given that time, I was thrown into a situation where I had to deal with something that I had never dealt with, and that was a 45 years sentence. And like I say, I had 3 of them. They was ranked concurrent. So I was considered as a real bad character in a sense. Somebody packing that kind of time. But to be honest, I wasn't a real bad guy. I really wasn't. I remember They had put me in the line force and everything. But when I had gotten out of line force and I had got a kitchen job, and I was working on the serving table where we served the food. And at that time, they had to put shields over the serving lines because the prisoners used to be real rowdy. They used to snatch the food from up on, like I say, if they come down there to the cake, the kitchen bosses want you to police the inmates. How am a police an inmate? Tell him he can't have no another piece of cake. I wasn't that kind of inmate. You have some inmates like that. Hey, man, I can't give you number one piece. Some of them dudes, like them line force dudes, they'd grab a whole tray of cake. But I was working on the line with some characters. Matter of fact, we had a couple punks that worked on the line with us too. They was real good workers, to be honest. And they kept you laughing. They punks kept you laughing. And I'll never forget, it used to be this one guy that used to come to the line all the time. And I worked at night on the breakfast shift. So we went in early. And he would always be caught up in the conversations with the punks. Now you got to remember, I'm kind of new at this. I was kind of new at it, and me and another guy they called Wild Bill, he was out of Dallas. That was my boy. That was my partner. He was introducing me to the ways of the penitentiary. And he lived on S line. I lived on P line. No, I lived on R line. So we lived on different tanks, but we worked together, and we did a lot together. Go to winter rec and a lot of things like that. But while Bill had his way of living and I had my way of living, and at that time, my way of living was kind of simple in penitentiary because I'm new, I'm fresh with a 45. Well, this punk and used to be another punk that used to come to our line to kick it with the other punk, and this is where I got introduced to penitentiary wine. And they had to pack me to the house one day. I was like, man, what is that? So Wild Bill said, man, that's that wine, that's that chalk. He said, yeah, we come when we get through working and cleaning up and everything, we gonna get drunk. So after we got through working and everything and cleaning up, we all back there. And it was some berry wine. It was made out of berry. And they had it on ice. So I'm drinking, man. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing, man. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing, man. I'm drinking. Man, I got so drunk they had to pack me to the house. I respected that penitentiary wine after that day. So one night we in there, we all kicking it. We got this guy, and this guy was like a Rudy Ray Moe type of guy. He had some good stand-up comics, and he was a good stand-up type of guy. But I didn't know he had messed with punks, and he was one of them good-looking boys. So we all up in there kicking it, man, and we had been drinking some wine that night, but I ain't disrespected this time. So we all up in there, man. We just to laugh, and the punk got us laughing. These punks was crazy. So one of our partners, matter of fact, I did a lot of time with this guy, and through the course of years, they talking about having sex with punks. So the punks, they enjoying the conversation, and these dudes here, they talking, because they indulge. I finally figured it out and found out that they indulge in it, right? So now one of the boys, he trying to really impress one of the punks. He talking about eating the boy booty. I say, eating the booty? I say, you eat the boy booty? He say, yeah. I say, yeah, you got to eat the boy booty. So the other dude saying it's all right to eat the boy booty. So the punk sitting at that time, yeah, I guess so. I say, oh man, you don't ask another punk. I say, oh, y'all tripping, man. I say, y'all tripping. And these are some of the conversations that used to go on at work among, these individuals. And my boy Wild Bill. Boy, my boy Wild Bill was something serious. But Wild Bill was on a different note when it came to dealing with boys. These guys here, they like the punks, and what I mean about punks, the punks that made themselves up, that had makeup on. And see, Eastham was the kind of unit that you would see two men walking down the hallway, one with makeup on and lipstick on, and the other hugging him, and they would kiss down the hall, and it really wasn't nothing said. I remember one day I was commissary. So, and this is when I seen time changing in the penitentiary from being to the relationship. See, I never seen a relationship seriously of two men until I got to Eastham. So I was in commissary line, me and another guy, and he had this punk with him. And the punk had a big commissary bag, and he had a little box. He had a little box. But they running us to commissary, not the punks. The punks just in line with his man. So, I mean, hey, we get up there, we was busting 60s then. So the boy, he busting all this money and busting all that money, and the punk putting all the commissary inside of the commissary bag, and he putting some items in the little box. So I make my little stove. We walking on down the hall back towards the tank. When we get to the tank, the punk take the big commissary bag with him, and the boy bring the little box on the tank with him. I said, what kind of game he playing? And that was the making of what I've seen of relationships in the prison at that time, on how men took care of punks. Punks didn't take care of men. Some did, some didn't. But it was amazing. And even though I'm giving you these stories, and they not physical, right? I'm talking about a prison that was totally dangerous, but had its laughs. It had its laughs. It had its other side that you couldn't believe was going on in such a place. But it was, and then you had that side where men was losing their lives, men was losing their limbs, men was losing things that you didn't even know they was losing on a daily basis, but yet they was losing. And and I say that because I had a couple partners that lost their lives. They lost their lives in there. As a matter of fact, I remember two cousins Two cousins lost their lives, and you sit here, and I'm sitting here right now today, right? I'm sitting here in 2021, and I'm going back way back to 1990 of a time when I really could have lost my life in the course of doing them 45 years, but I didn't. And so I'm looking at my life now, but I'm free. But but something has been taken away from me that could have put me in a state of mind that it could have took me down. It could have took me down mentally, spiritually. But I had to go back way to 1990 at a time when I might should have went down then in the punk game, the stabbing game. I could have got killed. It's so much could have took place in my life at that time, but it didn't. But it didn't. And guess what? It ain't gonna take no way. It ain't gonna take no place but in this time, and I'm gonna make it out of this. And I had to go to a scenario of the institutional days because we laughed at a time when we might have should have been crying. We laughed at a time when danger was lurking us all the time. And so now I'm at a time and I'm smiling and I'm feeling good, even at a time where I could have lost my life doing a surgery. Could have lost my life. But to know that I had just released to get up to this morning, even though I went through some pain last night. I went through some pain last night, but I got through it. I got through it. I went through some pain in 1990. I went through some pain. It wasn't a physical pain, but I went through some pain and I got through it. And this message is to everybody that's going through something. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. It might seem a long ways off, but it's close by. Hey there to you too. Hey there. Good morning. Yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling good. It's there. You can grab hold to it. You can grab hold to it. And when you grab it, the time to release it is going to be the time when Just Release has released it you. Hey, this is Andre Wade with Just Release. When you tell somebody about Just Release, tell me hit that like button. Tell me that like button because ain't no telling what I might come back with. Because you know I'm coming back with something. You know I'm coming with something. Yeah. Because guess what? It might have happened then, but this what's happening now. This is Andre Wade with Just Release, and I'll be back with something else.